Okay, so we're gonna talk about our lesson plans today, and from the unit that we did put together, which was traversing and congruency for geometry, it was an eighth grade standard from the Georgia, standards, report standards. And the day that we do present our lessons, we will all start, our group starts at 8 a.m. And the order that we will be going in is the pretest will be the first thing, and Issa will present that pretest, for 10 minutes, give it to the student since he's first and he'll be up there already. And for the first 10 minutes, and then from that, each person will start their lessons 25 minutes each to keep us on time. After that, we will have the review for our post-test, which will be 15 minutes, and then we will have our post-test for 10 minutes, and then we will have closing for 5 minutes. We're gonna kind of move in order, the way that we present our lessons, bless you. And Issa will be the first, and I'll ask you a few questions, and you'll just pretty much tell us what you're gonna be doing. And the topic and everything, so,
Okay, what are we doing for the lesson?
yes, what's your topic?
My topic just deals with parallel and perpendicular lines, which is the introduction. It's the first learning target from our unit. But the fact that we're doing it together, I'm going to spend a lot of time. I guess most of the time is just basically refresher, warm up, recalling, triggering previous knowledge to then set up the unit for the later instruction, which is really the transversal, you know what I mean,
Mhm.
stuff. And what is it you're doing again? You're doing
I'm doing.
your last, right?
No, I'm
Yeah,
second
okay.
to last.
I'm the last person.
And it's the.
Ratios,
Mhm.
ratios, and you're doing
Congress.
congruence.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it. So we're gonna start off with warm up. We're gonna do the 8-question pre-test,
Mhm.
you know, to kind of trigger, just to see where they are, trigger previous knowledge, and what else are we gonna be doing? So that we'll construct a lesson. That's why I'm kind of talking to you guys to see whether or not I have some sort of, what do you call it, remediation things, just in case I have somebody who doesn't know, you know? Most of it is gonna be basic reminders, like as, some of the straight line, you know, the angles out of the 180. But if somebody doesn't know that, I do have a construction problem, basically by using just cutting out a triangle and then cutting it, you know, something like this. Basically, so that's like I guess for tactile learning. I think my main thing is I don't want to waste, you know, the whole object is to introduce new material.
Mhm.
That's what your lesson is for.
Now,
You know what I mean?
now that you brought up the different learning styles, have everybody kind of thought about the different learning styles and how they would incorporate it into their lessons?
That's why,
So that we could reach everybody?
you know, that's why I did some audio things in the Prezi presentation that I have. Some audio, there's some video. I am gonna do a paper pencil. You know, we have that component in there. So, you know, we have group work, we also have individual work. And this is a basic construction one for them to know that the straight line sums up to 180. So we got a triangle, we'll cut out a triangle, we'll cut it in the shape, we'll rearrange it, and we see how it forms, the straight line forms 180 degrees, which is, you know what I mean? Which is a straight line. If need be, like I said, I don't wanna do something like this if the class doesn't need it. You know what I mean? Because it'll be a waste of time. You know, what I mean, it's instructional time. So this is basically it. But I'll have that just in case as a
So
remediation,
if somebody,
differentiation thing. Somebody doesn't have it, so
if
doesn't have the prior
somebody's
knowledge.
confusing, like, okay, we'll take out a sheet of paper, everybody take out a sheet of paper and cut.
My question is, do I have to have anybody do it? Do I have to have anybody do it?
So how would you
So
just
we,
let that one person do it?
or we have the students arranged in some type of groups or partners so that they can just do it together instead of everybody just doing it?
Yeah, cause you probably don't wanna point at just that one person, or you
The-
just
I
do this
think-
by yourself.
Or-
The best thing you have to do if you want to get the group engaged in it and so on, if you have a plain sheet, you give every group and so on, you that is demonstrating, you have to pick up their own, you ask them to follow you if you know the construction side.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the
They'll join
construction.
that.
I'll do the construction
Yeah,
exercise.
you ask them, cut this side, cut this side, cut this side, cut this side. They will be doing it along with you and so on.
Now,
That is
for some
expensive.
people that needed to see it, will you have it typed out for them, or will you talk it step by step?
Well, what I'll do is, we'll do the construction exercise, together in groups,
Mhm.
right? We can cut it, and then we'll go right into a problem solving using that same principle. Like I'll have the straight line, see right here, if it was a straight line, I'll give you, a measure for Q. So basically you will know that, you know, right, 180 minus Q, would have to give you the other remaining angles. See, we'll kind of do something like this. So this is the only thing, that and, I'm just doing a lot of just basically like some things that they should be reminded, like, do you cover that? But I thought about, you know, the sum, when you have two parallel lines, this is when I get into my lesson,
Mhm.
because when you have two parallel lines, right, and you have a closed, you have a polygon, well, you have it, right?
Mhm.
The sum of the angles between two parallel lines have to equal 180. So that's something that you should, that is also, you should know. You know?
Camera is 26 minutes.
Huh?
It's 26 minutes live.
26 minutes, okay, that's fine, that's fine. See what I'm saying? Like, for example, here, you would realize that if you indicate by notation these two are parallel,
Mhm.
then the sum of B, angle B and angle A must equal 180. Because all the angles between two
Yeah,
parallel
and
lines.
I'll have that because that's that section with the same side angles that I was talking about with you
Okay.
earlier.
So that covers, that's what we
That
cover.
goes into kind of what I'm talking about with supplementary angles, like they
So
don't have
you
to
would
know that.
transition into her
Okay,
section.
but
Well,
these
my
are all fifth grade
section
books, these
is-
are all sixth and fifth grade books, honestly. You know, these are all fifth and sixth grade books, you know, all the ones that we deal now with, like seventh grade and eighth grade books, you already, you know, you're assuming that you have this stuff pretty, that you know this stuff.
Maybe that's.
You know, all you're doing is just, at this point, is just, you know, working on transversals and, you know, working on a little more complicated problems, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying, so I just devote a lot of time on that sort of, so they can feel really good about these things, and they're not, you know, that's what I was talking about. You know, dedicating just like a whole, that's my lesson on the unit, is just making sure that
Construction.
all the previous knowledge is there, all the construction stuff is there, they know how to construct a parallel, they know how to construct a particular line, you know what I mean, and all that stuff is there. You know, flip the classroom, give us some tutorials, you know what I
That'd
mean?
be cool.
So when they come in the next day, they've seen the transversal at home, then you can take it from there, because that's, you know, that's,
Well, my lesson is already assuming that they got the knowledge about transversals and stuff. That's why my PowerPoint, where I start out stuff from your lesson, like I still wanted to incorporate stuff from your lesson, and I was like, oh, you should know this already. And then from the lesson that we taught earlier this week, where you already know about transversals and parallel lines and everything, we're gonna have a review game on that. You know, technically we didn't have a whole lesson before, but she said I could, you know, make the class aware of that they are aware of this, so that my PowerPoint is just a warm up for all of them. And hey, remember these are equal to each other. And it works out. And then we'll get into the review game where everybody is in groups, and within that group each person has a different problem, and it's the same problem for each group. So say with my stickers there's like yellow, green, blue, purple, and red for each person, and all the yellows in each group will have the same problem, all the reds will have the same problem, all the
And what are you doing your topic over?
on transversals and parallel lines.
Okay.
Like angle relationships. So they each have to solve their problem in the group first, and then they have to talk to each other and make sure, hey, check up on what you're doing, and hey, maybe I made a mistake right here, maybe I didn't, or do you understand this? Then after that, I'll call all the yellows to go up and put up their answers, all the blues and so on. And I'll get their answers, and then I'll tally and see who won what, like who's got the most points on that.
you'll have how many groups?
I'll have 4.
4 groups, right?
So it's gonna be like 3 groups of
You're-
5 and 1 group of 4.
You're cool.
Because we have 19 students, right?
You're color coding them?
Are you going to use
What is that, just
Not
arbitrary
color
colors?
color coding so they can see it. It's a visual, like, oh, that's the yellow. So whenever I call them up, it's all these people that have this problem, or all the yellow people, all the people that have blue, all the blue people.
Did you count yourself in that 19?
Because at first I was saying 20.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, I don't have 20 students because that includes me. And there's 20 people in the class?
It was about
I
right.
counted it.
Seems about right.
I can always make sure tomorrow.
Well,
And
we
so
have a
if
type of right,
they,
we'll
if
do that
they
next week.
tie, in the event of a tie, have a challenging problem, and whoever gets that problem right will get a treat, because I'll have a bag of treats, and everybody will get a treat, but that group that won the challenge or has the most tallies, if I don't get to the challenge problem, they'll have the first choice. So it'll have like homework passes in there, 5 points extra, media center time. You know, that could be like motivation for them to want to play the game. Like, okay, our group is going to get all these answers right, help out each other.
Are
Then
you going
closing.
to use the board? Are you going to use the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'll have a PowerPoint for my warm-up. We'll have the game. Then after the game, I'm going to have all the solutions in another PowerPoint, and we'll go over it as a closing and ask my questions there.
Remember, it's 25 minutes.
Yeah, I know. That's why I use the PowerPoint, so I can flip through real quick.
Okay.
So hopefully the PowerPoint works, but even so, I'll probably print out the solution ones if that doesn't work.
And I'll be talking about ratios and proportions. And I will also flash back to, in order to be successful in the lesson that I'm teaching, you guys would be the foundation for me. So you're leading up to what I'm going to teach. I will have an activity. I'll use a PowerPoint to present my activity, and then I will work it out on the side of the board, so I don't have to construct the questions and show it. I'll already have the questions and everything, and I'll work it out. There will be an activity that each person would do. They will be in pairs where they sit, and with their mate, they would do this problem, and each person is done with baseball bats, but of course we're not going to have the bats. We're going to use umbrellas, and I'm going to try to get along 2 different size umbrellas, and it forms like a triangle, the stance of a baseball. How the batter, his stance, it forms the triangle. So you'll have to figure out the missing side now, and let's say the height. Let's say if you have a long umbrella, a tall one, and then the other person has like this miniature umbrella. Now, what would be the appropriate size the person would have to be so they won't look goofy? So that would be the activity, and each person would have a sheet with them telling them the instructions, what they should do, and I will walk around and monitor them, and I will pass out index cards that they can write the information on. And they will also have to draw a pictorial of it as well. And that's pretty much everything, which will lead into Solomon's, because you will also have to understand, you know, the similar sides of the triangle, such as using things like side angle side, side, and things of that nature.
Okay.
And my own area is just the Congress area. It's mostly drawing, as you're saying. Similarities. What is the similarity between the side angle? The similarity between the side of the distance, the angles and so on. It will interwove with yours because it's going to be about ratio and so on. This side is length, this one is longer, this one is short. But I wanted to use, as I said last time and so on, the only phone I'm going to put in, I want to apply a physical something, like giving them paper and ask them to construct a plane and so on, ask them to throw. Then their throwing will be the base of my physical teaching, giving them angle of elevations and so on. And that is how the angle will be. I can even cite in when you want to play a ball, you know, there's a position you have to be based on different heights. A shorter person plays and it goes in, the taller person plays, goes in. So the variation is just these differences between their heights and so on for you to make a better something. Then cite certain person like Pele of Brazil, and that the first time he lost